It's really crazy to me how nostalgic this game can make you feel, and it's only 4 years old. There are some pretty significant landmarks throughout this game's history so far, and because we're going to Natlan very soon, I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of those significant landmarks, some that probably haven't visited or maybe you even forgot about. And just taking in the lore, the atmosphere, the music is one of the best parts and most significant thing about Genshin Impact. You can easily get lost or immersed in this grand world. So let's go over some of the most forgotten areas in Genshin Impact. Simulanka, it's a little too soon for you right now, but in a couple years I'm looking at you. And I'm going to start with my personal favorite, Dragonspine. Dragonspine is a place a lot of people probably don't really go to anymore unless you're new to the game, but it really did connect and flesh out Mondstadt quite a bit. Dragonspine is the first ever area added to the game that you can physically go to, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because I'm from Northern Ontario as well, I'm a big sucker for ice, snow, or any kind of winter themed levels. The music here is immaculate. It's a big treacherous snowy mountain, and if you're not careful you'll easily freeze your balls off. Seriously though, I'm sure a lot of people don't come back here simply because of the freeze mechanic, which I actually like because it felt just like the mountain looked, treacherous. And because it's dangerous just to walk around without a heat source, it just made it feel more immersive. Some areas are beautiful, the sun shines off the snow, and other areas just are treacherous and just terrifying. The icy caverns are also really cool, and there's a lot of lore to this place as well. The old civilizations of Teyvat before the Seven have established. There's a lot of history and lore to this place, and because it's so treacherous, you can just feel that not a lot of people come here, and even the ones that do probably don't get to go home. Dragonspine might be the first ever area added to the game, and I'm sure a lot of you don't really go back here anymore, unless you get the odd commission, but for me this place will always be special. I would argue that this is probably the most forgotten area where people literally forget about or just don't really go to. Again, unless you get the odd commission here, I don't see anyone going to Stormterror's lair. And fun fact, this is the only place in the game where if you get into a battle, the music does not change for anyone. And there's only one theme that plays, and this theme really just captures the area and what it's about. It's the old capital of Mondstadt, even before there was an animal Archon. And there was a great slaughter here, from the god of storms until it was defeated, and then Venti took the shape of a boy that was killed. Now, Dvalin uses it as his lair, and his haven. And even though they killed the god of storms, there's always wind currents here, and a storm that constantly surrounds the center. This place was once a very populated capital of Mondstadt, now abandoned ruins, with harsh wind currents and monsters taking up residency here. I try to make a point to pop in here from time to time. The Chasm is truly an awe place. They did not disappoint with the Chasm. This is one of the two places that we were teased basically with the original map. It was Dragonspine and the Chasm, but we didn't get the Chasm till 2.6. You have the overworld part, and then you have the underground. Both are much better than I originally anticipated. Also, I work underground in a nickel mine as an industrial mechanic. That is my job. So this place did have a sense of familiarity to me only. I can see why this mine's pretty much abandoned at this point. You mean to tell me that they're not breaking like 100, if not like 1,000 OSHA regulations here? Mining this shit? Somebody call the Ministry of Labor on Rex Lapis, like this shit's totally illegal. All joking aside, you can really feel the claustrophobia as you get deeper into the chasm. But like every other place in this video, it's not somewhere you really go on a regular basis. But I will make a point to come back here and 100% complete it very soon. And I love that when you get so deep into the mine, you start to see like magical mushrooms growing, and like you can feel like you've gone so deep into the chasm that even the miners haven't really gone down here. And learning about what happened to the Yaksha Bodacious down here is even more tragic and gives this place so much significance. Like, you just know that this place would have been like out of a horror movie during the cataclysm with all the monsters down here, and Bodacious gave his life to make sure that they never saw the light of day. Only he never did again either. The Eternal Oasis. There is no commissions, no reason to go here if you completed the quest, but yet I do find myself going here from time to time. One of the most fascinating locations in Sumeru. The three god kings of Sumeru. When Celestia wanted an Archon and dish out a Gnosis, they refused and decided to work together. King Deshert wanted to learn forbidden knowledge and rebel against Celestia. The goddess of flowers offered to help him and paid the ultimate price, and this is her graveyard. An oasis, frozen in time. That is her memory. She sacrificed her life to help her friend. I guess Celestia always wins. But the music here is so sad and you can feel that. And then when you see the 3 seats of the god kings, Rukkhadevata, Nabu the goddess of flowers, and King Deshret himself, all 3 gone now, but their memory and their legacy has not. And you can really feel that when you're here. Golden Apple Archipelago, literally you cannot go to, and it's sad that we haven't had it in a couple years now. I think it's been a couple years, and this might be a bit of a hot take, but I haven't liked the summer event in the last 2 years. I didn't hate him, and if you ended up liking it more, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but there was something about this summer vacation on these islands in the summertime right before a new nation came out. It was kind of just like a nice little calm vacation event, island hopping, right before a new nation. It's like the calm before the storm. Right before shit hits the fan with a new Archon quest, it's nice to go to these islands. Kick your feet up, enjoy it, play some games, do some events, open some chests. But no, we haven't been back in 2 years, and I'm really hoping we do at some point. If we never get a summer event here again, I'm hoping they add it at least as a permanent place you can go to. I don't see why they wouldn't. And nothing screams tropical beach vacation right before a new region like the music here. It's phenomenal. Because Inazuma's an island nation with different islands you can go to, you really could make a claim for every island that you don't visit on a regular basis, but I'm going to choose Tsurumi Island because it's the most mysterious, the most sinister, has one of the best and most tragic NPC stories, and the atmosphere here is just haunting to say the least. Every single theme from this island gives you that sense of like you're at the edge of the world. Literally, we're at the edge of the map here, and you get lost in the fog unless you complete the quest. And you learn about the ghosts here and Rue, who was slaughtered and sacrificed by all the people. To please their Thunderbird god, only it angered it and it killed everyone. And because this place sits on the edge of the world, basically in Genshin's map, and with the music and atmosphere, you can't help but feel lonely here. There's rift monsters, a few hilly trolls, and that's about it. There is no signs of life anywhere. And unless you have Farina, you're a long-ass swim away from anyone else. Probably one of the most significant locations in the entire game, and that's not an exaggeration. This was the heartbeat and the centerpiece around the cataclysm. The gaping hole with monsters of the abyss spewing out of it. The death of multiple gods and archons. The very fabric of Teyvat changed so much, and it all happened here. The Great Tree, which is essentially the Hydro Archon's graveyard. The waters of Egeria. Here to this day, that now created a little oasis in the dry, desolate desert. This place is sort of bittersweet because you can see the very idea of healing here. There was so much anguish and tragedy here. The land scarred and damaged for life. But you can see as you complete the quest, it's almost like symbolic for Teyvat is starting to heal. Also, this place single-handedly has some of the best soundtracks in the entire game. I would even make a claim that it is the best soundtrack of this game, but that's just my opinion. I'm also wondering if Natlan's gonna border this area as well. Then we'll have 3 different nations bordering this area, making it that much more significant. I know this place isn't that old, but I don't even think there's commissions here, so unless you're doing a side quest or something, a character story, there is really no reason to visit the Fortress of Meropide. And even already sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, the Fortress of Meropide, I forgot about this place. I think I had a side quest not too long ago where I was just never got around to doing it, and then I finally did it because I'm trying to clear my backlog before Natlan, and boom, I find myself in the Fortress of Meropide. So I was like, oh yeah, forgot about this place. The music here is banger. Perfectly fits the theme of an underwater prison. And definitely an underrated location in the game in my opinion. Enkanomiya. This place is definitely not on the beaten path, but oh my goodness. Everything that I've described in this video so far, this place embodies that. It's an ancient lost civilization outside the gaze and laws of Teyvat. And this is the place where we learned so much about the history of Teyvat. The dragons, the primordial one, the people that got banished here and forsaken, Istaroth who tried to help them, the Bishops when they fled originally, the civilizations that started here. They created a fake sun because it was so desolate and dark, hidden and buried from Teyvat and the gods. Ancient forbidden knowledge and Secrets hidden here, kept for thousands of years. This place is rich with history and lore, but it has such a grim and sad atmosphere. The music, too, just hits so hard when you see this place for the first time, especially when you let the fake sun go out. Again, I could go on and on about the lore here, it's fascinating. And this place is what really got me into Genshin lore to begin with. It is when I truly started to get real invested into the story, reading books and artifacts. It all started from here. The next one's gonna kind of transition from Enkanomiya because Enkanomiya tells a lot of the history of Orobashi, the great serpent god that the Raiden Shogun slayed on Yashiori Island. And again, I could make a claim for each island depending on the player in this video, how often you visit them, but I feel Yashiori is pretty underrated and honestly does get forgotten, especially its original state when it's constant thunderstorms and rain. You basically gotta not get hit by lightning at all times when exploring this island, until you complete the main quest. When we were first introduced to Inazuma, you saw this great skeleton of a serpent. You knew some of the context, but you didn't really learn the whole context till you went to Enkanomiya. And you feel that here, with the constant storms, the giant skeleton, the music. One of my favorite places in Inazuma, and I think this was the first place in Inazuma that I 100% completed. And even before I learned any of the lore on this island, I couldn't help but feel like something's amiss. I'm not in immediate danger, it's not as sketchy as some of the other places, or that same feeling of despair, but there was just something amiss. Characters acted funny, villages were abandoned. Then you learn the history of this place and how it corrupts people. People go mad, they go insane, they kill each other. The more you stay on this island, the more sinister it gets. The summer event before Fontaine wasn't my favorite, but it was nice in its own way. It introduced us to a lot of themes in Fontaine, that humans are Oceanids. I didn't play it as much as maybe I should have. I was a little bit bitter when they didn't have the Golden Apple Archipelago, and again, that is just my opinion, but that is why I don't get the same feeling when these new events come out. But looking back at it, and even the bit that I did explore and play the minigames, it was a lot of fun, and it did hype me up for Fontaine. Here's a quick montage of some notable landmarks that you might have forgotten about. And that concludes the most forgotten places and locations within Teyvat and Genshin Impact. Is there a place I forgot about? And which one of these places is your personal favorite? It's crazy to me that this game can give you a feeling of nostalgia only being like 4 years old. Which means despite all the controversy around this game, the devs, the endgame content, all of the above, at least the overworld, the locations, and the atmosphere are stunning. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.